If you didn't know, there's a brand new Predator. It's called the Predator 19 Plus, and you might be wondering to yourself, what's the difference between the new Predator 19 Plus and the old Predator 18 Plus? And the answer to that question is one. That's really the only difference. What's going on, guys? Josh from SoccerReviewsForYou.com, bringing you my review plus on-feet video of the hardly brand new Adidas Predator 19 Plus in the Launch Initiator Pack colorway. This is the second generation of the return of the Predator, and in comparison to the Predator 18 Plus, aside from some minor cosmetic differences, there are some very minor physical changes as well, none of which, spoiler alert, really make any difference in regards to fit, feel, or overall performance. But because this is a review, I am gonna go over all the details that you should know about the brand new Predator 18 Plus, including what is actually different in comparison to the model that it replaces. So if you wanna learn more about these, including how they fit and feel on feet, please stick around and watch the entire video. And if you are interested in a pair of these for yourself, I'll leave a little pop-up on screen, or you can click the first link down below. That'll take you to the review page on my website, where you'll find buy it now links with exclusive SR4U coupon codes, where you'll be able to pick up the Predator 19 Plus below its normal $275 retail price. So that is different. The price has decreased by $25, which is good. If you guys do end up enjoying the video, don't forget to support it with a like. And if you are new here watching for the first time, I post new videos every single day. So if you're not subscribed already, be sure to hit that subscribe button along with the little bell notification so you get notified whenever the next new video goes live. In my opinion, the Predator 18 Plus had one of the most annoying shoe boxes of all time. No more with the Predator 19 Plus. It now just comes in the regular drawer style box with the built-in handle, as you'll get with all the other Laceless Plus models from Adidas. They also include an extra set of standard insoles to go along with the Boost insoles already inside of the boots. A shoehorn, since the boots are laceless, to help with putting them on. I personally never use this. And the exact same Predator branded string bag that we've been getting for the last little while. It gets a string bag score of 19 plus out of 47. It's not that interesting. Now, obviously, side by side, the Predator 18 Plus and 19 Plus look quite similar, aside from some minor cosmetic differences, like the Sharpied on lines highlighting the texturing of the prime knit upper here on the new 19 Plus. What's really different, or the one thing that I immediately noticed, was the thing here on the heel. On the 18 Plus, it's basically just fused with a little bit of design. On the 19 Plus, it's actually a fairly significant piece of rubber with a little bit of a ridged design. Now, if you feel the heel area, it's a little bit firmer on the 19 Plus, which kind of acts as somewhat of an external heel counter, but when the boots are actually on your feet and you're playing in them, it's honestly not something that you really notice. So the difference here is more so just a cosmetic thing, but I do like the fact that they have added some bulk to the heel just for the sake of a little bit of extra protection. But as far as performance benefit is concerned, aside from, I guess, adding more swerve to your back heels, there's no real benefit here. Another difference that I almost immediately noticed that a lot of people have not picked up on, and it would be difficult to tell unless you had the boots in hand, is that the collar on the Predator 19 Plus has been extended ever so slightly. So you can see side by side with the 18 Plus, the back of the collar does come up just a little bit higher on the new 19 Plus. It doesn't seem to be higher towards the front, just towards the back and perhaps a little bit here at the sides. It's still made out of the exact same elasticated prime knit. It still has the exact same cut to it. So it really doesn't make for a different look or feel in any way at all, but it is a minor difference nonetheless. Oh, and it now says prime knit on the inside of the collar. Sort of. And then the final difference between the new and old Predator is the weight. And given that they are basically the same thing, meaning that the upper construction is the same, the sole plate and stud pattern is the same, but they did extend the collar a little bit and then add this rubber patch on the heel, you would expect that this would weigh more than the old one, and it does. In a size 9.5 US, the Predator 19 Plus weighs in at 9.2 ounces, which is by no means heavy, but it is heavier than the model it replaces, and by, I guess, the standards of top-end boots in 2018, that is an above average weight. These are not gonna have a super lightweight feel on feet. For comparison's sake, the Predator 18 Plus in the same size weighs in at about 8.6 ounces. So somehow they have added 0.6 ounces to the weight of the Predator 19 Plus with only minor design changes. I'm not exactly sure how they manage that, but they have. Is there a noticeable weight difference between the two? In my opinion, not really, but if you were wondering, the new Predator is technically heavier than the old one. So going back a full year, when Adidas first brought back the Predator in the form of the 18 Plus, people complained that it wasn't leather and it didn't have any rubber striking elements, two defining characteristics of an Adidas Predator. Well, the new 19 Plus is still not leather, but it does have a rubber striking element. Unfortunately, it's on the heel. So if you weren't happy with the old one, you're probably still not going to be happy with the new one. However, it's still actually a pretty decent boot. The upper itself remains identical. It's a part prime knit, part forged knit construction. The prime knit is mainly here in the forefoot as well as across the top of the foot. The forged knit is what you're going to find on either side of the midfoot. Essentially a knitted material with some extra internal reinforcement. It's a little bit more padded. Because this is laceless, you need that extra reinforcement through the midfoot area. Now, of course, it does have the control skin kind of texturing on the surface, which is basically just a polyurethane top layer, as you'll find on a lot of different knitted uppers. And it maintains the same kind of ridge design and texturing. That actually has not changed at all. Maybe it would have been interesting had they gone for a different pattern. They decided not to do that, and again, kind of just sharpied in some of the edges so you can see the texturing a little bit more clearly rather than actually making anything different. This isn't grippy in any way. It's literally just black paint on the upper. So nothing here performance-wise has changed. And as far as Predators go, being that this is a soft prime knit material, it does have a nice sock-like sensation, but it's not overly padded. And the overall touch that you're gonna get from this boot in general, I would say is gonna be more so on the thinner side rather than on the more padded side like you'd expect from a lot of older Predator models. The forged knit through the midfoot is a little bit more padded than what you'll find through the forefoot. And then of course it does have their pure cut laceless design that is exactly the same. It's basically just elasticated prime knit running across the top of the foot, making for a very comfortable feel initially when you put these on, but the lockdown is not my personal favorite as far as laceless boots go. That's not to say that they're unwearable, but again, if you're somebody that likes a super locked in responsive sensation, these are not necessarily going to provide that. Moving to the rear of the boot, like we talked about, they added some structure with this rubber element at the back, and they have extended the collar. Neither of those elements, in my opinion, really make for that much of a difference in terms of overall fit or feel. If you're wondering about ankle support, it comes up a little bit higher, but it's just very thin elasticated material. It looks cool, but essentially does nothing else. And then internally, you're gonna find that it does have the same synthetic suede lining with a decent amount of padding. Nothing's really changed there. The insole is, of course, fully removable. It features a nice synthetic suede lining on top, and it's made out of their signature Boost material that you're gonna find on all kinds of different running shoes and basketball shoes and trainers. It's used exclusively in their football/soccer lineup on the Predator series, specifically the Laceless Plus models. Now, as I've said before, because it has not changed, the amount of boost you get in the form of an insole is so thin that it ends up just feeling like regular foam. There's nothing about this that feels special, although it is also worth noting that there is an extra layer of this very thin boost, mainly through the forefoot, basically from here forward, but there is some structure on top of that, basically a hard plastic piece, so you don't necessarily sit directly on top of two layers of very thin boost. You just get the cushion from the insole that, again, ends up just feeling like regular foam. Moving to the base of the boots, you're gonna find that this utilizes the exact same control frame sole plate that does extend into a bit of a heel counter at the lower part of the heel here at the back. But for the most part, it's a pretty decently thick plastic material that has good flexibility to it, but it also has a very solid sensation. This is probably the stiffest sole plate out of everything from the Adidas brand right now, which I typically don't mind, but given the prime knit upper that they've used here on the 19 Plus and even the 19.1, it's so soft, it's so flexible, it's so sock-like, it almost doesn't match the sole plate. It feels like these two elements shouldn't be together, although that's just my personal opinion. Some people have these boots and they really like the sole plate. So again, it really just depends on what you want, but just don't expect this to have a very natural sensation, kind of like what you'll get from the upper. That is kind of my issue here. As far as the stud pattern is concerned though, it's the exact same stud pattern that we saw on the initial Predator 18 generation. No changes here whatsoever, and it's pretty much the same layout you'll find across the entire Adidas brand. Some minor variation in regards to the shape of the studs. They have more of a conical feel rather than a bladed feel, I would say. Not overly aggressive by any means at all, but if you've worn an Adidas boot in the last, I would say, 8 years, you kind of know what to expect here. Now, of course, the Predator 19 Plus, just like the 18 Plus, is fully laceless. They give you the shoehorn that you can use to put them on. I personally never use it, but what I like to do is basically use two hands, both thumbs essentially, pull the opening as big as possible, kind of slide my foot in sideways, go on the back, and then because of the rubber, they have added some extra structure to the heel. I use my back thumb as the shoehorn and then kind of pull the front part forward with my other thumb and then kind of just slide it back just to make sure I'm not crushing the back structure of the heel. And then from there, just adjust the collar around the edges and you're pretty much good to go. So while the Predator 19 Plus looks a lot like the Predator 18 Plus, is it possible that they changed or tweaked the shape ever so slightly? And the answer to that question, based on how these fit and feel, is no. They fit exactly the same way. No changes here whatsoever. And again, because the design is pretty much identical, you're not really going to notice any difference in feel either. The extra firmness from that rubber patch on the back, I don't think is noticeable beyond about 5 minutes once you forget that you're wearing 19 pluses rather than 18 pluses. So for the most part, the overall fit, feel, and experience is going to be identical. No significant changes whatsoever. The prime knit upper with the forged knit through the midfoot, obviously very soft on feet. There's not too much to break in. The Soleplate does have a more solid, slightly stiffer sensation to it. And then the laceless system, I just don't feel like it's particularly secure, but as long as you don't mind your boots not being super, super tight on your feet, you're probably gonna like the way that these fit and feel. As far as width is concerned, they actually have a tighter fit than I think you might expect. Most people, I think, would expect the Predators to have a very wide fit. These are not particularly wide at all, especially in the forefoot and toe box area. So if you have really wide feet, probably not a great option. And as far as fit overall is concerned, because they're laceless and don't have any adjustability to them, the way that they're gonna fit you specifically is really gonna vary from person to person. So you really have to make that call once you have the opportunity to try them on. As far as sizing is concerned, I'm wearing these in my usual size 9.5 US, and the fit and length is absolutely perfect. So just like the previous model, if you are looking to get a pair for yourself, I would recommend going true to size in order to achieve the best possible fit. So in conclusion, the Predator 19 Plus is pretty much just more of the same. And this is nothing new for Adidas. We've most recently seen them do this with the X16 Plus to X17 Plus. They were basically the exact same boot with some minor differences to the fit and upper. In the case of Predator 18 Plus versus 19 Plus, the differences are even fewer than what we saw in the X line. So basically, it's the exact same boot with a new name and some very minor cosmetic changes. Not to say that they're bad in any way, they're certainly not one of my personal favorites, but basically if you like the Predator 18 Plus, you're still really gonna like the Predator 19 Plus because it's pretty much the exact same thing. And with that in mind, if you are a fan of the Predator 18 Plus and were thinking about upgrading, if you have the extra money to spend, I guess go for it. Otherwise, save the money because you can actually get the Predator 18 Plus on sale in all kinds of different colorways right now, but you might as well buy 2 pairs of those rather than 1 pair of the new one, because again, the new one and the old one are the exact same thing. Anyways, guys, that is it for my review. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to support it with a like. Again, if you're interested in a pair of these for yourself, you can click the first link down below. That'll take you to the review page on my website, where you'll find buy it now links with exclusive SR4U coupon codes, where you'll be able to pick these up below their normal $275 retail price. If you have any questions, as always, leave them down below in the comments, and I'll do my best to get an answer out to you as soon as I possibly can. If you're not subscribed already, be sure to hit that subscribe button along with the little bell notification for daily videos on all the latest and greatest soccer gear. You can find all my social media information linked down below in the description as well. And other than that, guys, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.